Hey everyone, it's Shana Steigerwalt from Modern Driven Media, and we are at the Mindspace Wanamaker building for our very first Philly Hug event in nearly 3 years. We're here today talking about all things AI, what it means for your business, and how most importantly you can use Hubspot's tools to really help you take advantage of this new trend. We have a little bit of an agenda rundown for today, so we're going to have just a general conversation around AI before we dive into HubSpot's tools specifically, and then talk a little bit about the roadmap for HubSpot in the AI space. Since Devyn first created his very first website back in the dial-up days, he's been obsessed with marketing. And when he attended his very first inbound, which I was lucky enough to attend alongside of him, 2017? 16?
Yep.
He had started a hashtag Black at Inbound, which has now turned into a year-round community for Black professionals. Victor is an accomplished tech executive and entrepreneur. He's the current president of Grayson Sky, which is another HubSpot partner agency in the Philadelphia area. He was the former CEO of Triumph Technology Solutions, which is a leading provider of cloud computing and infrastructure solutions for startups, enterprises, and small to medium-sized businesses. So under Victor's leadership, Triumph was able to be at the forefront of using generative AI to help some of the largest organizations scale their infrastructure efficiently and cost effectively.
I think that some of these models, whether it's Anthropic's, Claude, whether it's ChatGPT or Palm or all these things, because there's hundreds of models out there that are available to use now, that I feel like it gives people a great baseline, but you really need to still put your own personal touch on it. Or for an agency, you're going to become everybody else. And at Grayson Sky, what we really pride ourselves is thinking outside the box and being different. And if you lean on the AI too hard, you're not going to be different anymore.
We have an internal AI assistant specifically for HubSpotters called HubGPT. And it helps us get past the writer's block. It'll help us create things. And that's a lot of the ways that I use it. But also, as far as end users in general, there are tools now in HubSpot that you can create entire marketing campaigns that would have taken, a graphic designer, an ad specialist, it would have taken a copywriter. These are all things you can do with one tool. And as things progress, and this is again part of the ugly, as people expect you to keep more plates spinning, they're not going to give you any more hands to do it with. And so you're going to be forced to become more efficient. The usage of AI is going to go from a nice to have to a need to have. Technology and time moves on, and it's just about being an early adopter and not being a late adopter when it comes to AI.
And I think that's a good statement of being an early adopter versus a late adopter, where organizations, right, I see it, large and small, you see all of the large ones really talking about it, right? And because there's so much security involved and personal data, that they're a little bit more cautious about actually adopting. But you're seeing the small organizations know that they need to adopt to compete. And, it sort of levels the playing field. But, you made a statement about, where people are going to have to use it to be able to compete. And I think really what it comes down to is teaching the right best practices with it and knowing what to do and what not to do, not just from a security standpoint, but from a prompting standpoint. Prompt engineering is a new role that has been generated because of all this buzz, and how you use the AI matters. If I just ask it a general question, whether it's in HubSpot's, portal or whether it's outside of it, if I don't know how to prompt it properly, I'm not going to get the right results. And learning, there is an art to it. And you can tell when somebody is just playing with it, and you have to play with it to learn. Or you've got great tutorials, like look at the tutorials And, I found that some of them are better than others, right? And I think that's a good understanding also, is understanding which models are for the best use cases. And for example, I think HubSpot's right now, they're using Jasper AI for a lot of content creation and copywriting. And they're using Stability.ai's Stable XL for image creation. And one thing that they was thoughtful when HubSpot did this is that they made it a multimodal model, right? So you can get this output in the same place.
What are some things that businesses can do in the now to encourage their team to start using this more?
I'd recommend it, whether it's an agency or another company, to have a stock prompts that you do and a decision tree. Because it's not just one prompt. You might ask the prompt, you don't get the right results. It's like, what's the second, third, fourth, fifth level that you're bringing it to get the right results that you want? And I think that's an easy thing, just a cheat sheet of prompts, specifically to the type of organization that you are.
Mm-hmm. I love that idea with prompts. And it is about that layering and layering and layering to make something more personalized, to make something, more aligned with what it is that you need. Devyn, is there anything else that you see from that standpoint?
Yes, set a goal. Give them something to work towards, as far as like the easiest example is like marketing and copy. It's like, I would like you to use this particular AI tool to generate X amount of content, and this is how much time you have to do it, and this is what I'd like to see come out of it. And just, give them something to work towards, because it's one thing to experiment, but there are people who don't learn that way, who won't experiment for the sake of experimentation. But if you give someone a goal to work towards and then give them the tools to accomplish that goal, then they're gonna figure it out, especially the lazy people. The lazy people are gonna figure it out so quick, because lazy people want to do the most amount of work with a minimal amount of effort, and they will burn their brains out. They will expend more energy figuring out how to do it easily than they will actually just spending doing it. So giving someone something to basically present at the end of it, I think would be a good way to get people going with it.
But I think, from a goal standpoint, this is like we started this of what I think some of it not being beneficial, especially when we're talking about marketing here. Because from a HubSpot perspective, utilizing these tools, we're really talking about marketing. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about not just for an agency, but an organization to adopt these tools. And I think that you're going to end up seeing an oversaturation of not great content. And SEO is catching up to it, right? So you're thinking about, all right, great, we're going to leverage these tools, and hey, we're going to say SEO optimize this. And guess what? Google is going to say, great, we're going to SEO optimize our AI. But if you use Microsoft's, right, you might not get the best SEO results. But I'm serious, that's real. And I just want to caution the companies to not overutilize this. And I want to stress, use this as a baseline, not as a crutch. I think the one piece of advice for anybody that wants to adopt, if you're using some of these models, whether it's GPT or any of them, and it's sensitive business information that you have, don't type it in there. Unless you have a custom bespoke solution that you've developed yourself, where you have data security in your own virtual private cloud, or you're running it on-prem, don't put it out there, because somebody's going to get it.
I was going to say, learn how to write prompts.
I said that 10 times.
Yeah, I know. Well, if you learn nothing else, you got to learn how to write prompts. It's like learning how to use Google all over again. And I'm not talking Google now. I'm talking like 2004 Google, when you basically had to know SQL in order to get a good result. Learn how to write prompts. Learn how to communicate with the different systems, and learn how to write what you need to write in such a manner that it produces whatever's going on inside your head.
Well, thank you all so much for coming out today. We're going to be hanging out for a little bit.